Welcome to Thriver TV, the place to break free from narcissistic abuse with quantum tools and understandings. And it's a stinking hot Melbourne day today, and I'm still without air conditioning for a couple of days, so pardon the sweating, it is going to be inevitable. So I want to start off with today's episode with one of my favourite quotes of all time from Pema Chodron, bar none. And this is how it goes. Nothing ever goes away until it teaches us what we need to know. So many of you in this community are ready and even working with the quantum way to look at things, which is deeply accepting life is working for us and not to us. So in relation to narcissists, what this really means is that these people are in our life for a reason. And if we don't get the reason, then we're not freed from the connection or trauma, and we're certainly not healing. In today's Thriver TV episode, I'm going to take you through exactly the reasons why people attract narcissists and why they can't let go. What are the definitive reasons? And then we're going to look at how to stop being a narc magnet, as many people call themselves, and end these cycles of attracting and possibly even clinging to people who hurt us, which is what we certainly do in narcissistic abuse, ending those cycles forever. All right, so let's just jump straight into it. I want to start right at the start with the societal generational programming view that we're all taught, that men and women needed each other codependently to survive and to raise a family. These were symbiotic relationships of necessity, as well as love, of course. And therefore, relationships are everything, and without them, we have no status or value whatsoever. Our generation right now is the changeover generation, where this is no longer the truth. Even though the one before us, our forebears, it largely was that symbiotic truth. And yes, we may want to be in a loving relationship, but we don't need to be in one anymore for survival and necessity. And we no longer need to cling to one or accept second best for survival or status. In fact, we don't even need to have a relationship, stay in one, or even be in one with an opposite sex partner. We can live alone, or we can live with any gender that we choose, or we can move on and we can generate our own life regardless of how the relationship pans out. We now have the freedom of choice and we have the power. But we may still not realise this. We may still be stuck in the limiting and somewhat painful beliefs such as, if I don't make this relationship work, I may be alone for the rest of my life. Or a woman must stand by her man. Or marriage is until death do we part. Boy, that nearly came true for a lot of us. Or a good husband never leaves his wife. Or whatever has enmeshed us into non-compatible or even relationships with abusers and then feeling unable to get out. At a deep DNA level, we're also suffering from the survival beliefs in our DNA where we can feel empty, worthless, alone and unsafe, or like a social outcast without a partner, not realizing that we now have the ability to partner life beautifully and then merge with other healthy people. And that when we are full and whole, we make healthy shoppers. We don't swallow and accept abuse and lies and poor values and behaviour to avoid being alone. Thank goodness all of these ghastly, deadly false premises can be reprogrammed with quantum freedom healing. We don't need to live these painful legacies anymore. And what I'm so happy about in this community is that long ago I decided to speak the truth and not go down the popular path of blaming and bashing abusers and focusing intently on them. And I love that so many of you are moving beyond the belief that narcissists can target and take in and down anyone. I believe that this is such a dangerous and totally disempowering orientation to believe in. I used to believe in it, and I promise you, I wouldn't be alive today if I stayed there. Because in this belief, there is no room for evolving and healing our consciousness or our inner programming. And it leaves us totally unable to find and release our trauma or get well or thrive. In fact, all it does is leave us stuck with victimhood. Yes, narcissists are a breed of their own, even fascinating, and it's compelling to discover they exist and what they're made of. But they are only a symptom of our susceptibility. We're handing them way too much power if we make it all about them. And we certainly don't heal from their abuse or our susceptibility to them if we make it all about them. Narcissists are only merely and magnificently the manifestation in a conscious way of our inner traumas that we had not yet realized, embraced, and healed, and that were always destined to get our attention, to give us the opportunity to release them and live our life free of them. Which means if this abuser hadn't brought this to our attention, another one would have needed to take their place, to bring us to our knees. When we're on the ground reeling and life can no longer go on as normal, this is the make or break experience. You've heard the expression, the only way is up. It's true. Most abuse forums will only tell you about the break experience. Yet here at Thriverland, we are constantly banging on about the make experience. The essential message is this now, because life can no longer go on as normal for you after being at this level of trauma, you have the opportunity and really not much of any other choice other than to go inside and find and heal these traumas to release yourself from the torture that you're now pretty much permanently immersed in. This is what your soul and life combined, which is the one quantum entity, is saying to you. It's now time to rise up and become the next highest, truest version of yourself. And that is not possible unless you unpack this trauma, dense energy, and false beliefs that you've been carrying around. And there's even more to this, and I promise you that it's true. Before you came here, you knew that's what you wanted to achieve, and you knew you might suffer amnesia, and you organised certain roadblocks to stop you in your tracks and bring you to your knees if you didn't remember. Hello, narcissist, the entity more than any other who could show you the absolute manifestation of not recovering yourself from childhood traumas, not being true to yourself, not being an integrated being listening to and in harmony with your inner self, and handing power away, trying to get people to grant you what you have not as yet healed and become whole within yourself. Boy, that was me totally. On a completely false trajectory, not even on the field, let alone near the goals of my true life, before my Thriver recovery. When we talk about being attracted to a certain type of person in the quantum sense, we're talking about a resonance, an energy, an X factor that is not easily definable. I believe our strongest attraction before healing and consciousness is we're seeking people to complete us. We want people who can grant us what we want but haven't yet got. Now here is the interesting thing, because even though we seek it, if we're not being the energy of the thing on an inner level and we feel like there's a lack within us, within who we are, what we end up with and who we end up getting will be a direct representative of more of that lack. So our attraction to narcissists is really about stuff like this. You seem confident, strong, and sure of yourself. That's great, because I don't have good boundaries and I struggle to stand up for myself. You'll be able to look after me and us. And of course, that's unconscious. And at first, it seems true that this person is being your boundary function for you, and you love it. And then later down the track, you realize your rock is really your hammer and is attacking you and throwing you under a bus. And you still have poor boundaries. You still don't know how to stick up for yourself or create a self-healthy, respectful life, because you never developed yourself to be these things. What you really wanted never came. Another example is that you feel invisible and worthless as a child, and deeply at an inner level you feel unloved, unimportant, and unlovable. The narcissist comes into your life seeing you, validating you, and loving you like no other. And you lap it up like a woman or a man in a desert finding an oasis. Yet when the mask crumbles, you start discovering you're treated cruelly with contempt. You're dismissed, you're invalidated, and you're given the silent treatment that makes you feel like you don't even deserve to exist. Why has this happened? Because you never became the whole, validated, heard, and connected to between you and you person that you needed to be to receive it for real from an intimate partner. It's quantum law. So within, so without. So this has been the unconscious, we attract our traumas deal. We did not receive what was required within our childhood for us to grow up as whole on the inside. The narcissist appears in our life as the answer to this. Finally, that person, that metaphoric parent who will this time look after us and provide what is missing. And then we discover that they're not the savior of those wounds, they're the messenger of them instead. And the trauma is horrific. Not only are we experiencing the injury of the present, we're also experiencing the deep unhealed wounds from our past that are ripped up to the surface with full ferocity. They feel so primal and powerful, it literally feels like we're going to die. And even though we feel like this person and our wounds are killing us, we're still attracted to this person, meaning connected, enmeshed, stuck there. Why is this? Why can't we let go? Because it's unfinished soul business. That's why. This is a soul contract. This is meant to be healed within you. And the messenger of your wounds, the narcissist, will continue on with vicious intensity as per the soul contract until you get the message, stop holding them responsible as the metaphoric parent that will put it right, and let go, pull away, and do what was always needed to be done. You turning inwards, self-partnering, meeting and healing your own wounds. So when all this happens, here's the choice. Are we going to shove our wounds back down and stay unconscious and cement our victimhood deeper? There are many ways we can do that. Keep looking to the outside, point the finger, and vow and declare how terrible narcissistic people are. Or we can do what thrivers do. We wake up. Finally accepting the purpose of what's happened to us. Stop making it about narcissists and using this time to transform our lives from the inside out beyond recognition. There is only one person who is your savior, you. Not your parents, not the narcissist, you. There is only ever one person to work on, yourself. We can have people show us how, support us and be there for us, but the self-work, self-commitment, dedication, self-partnering and self-love is no one else's job other than our own. It's quantum law, so within, so without. You have to become the source of what you seek for it to be in your life. And if we're attracted to narcissists and they're making a beeline for us continuously, it's because we have unhealed gaps within us that they are filling as false sources with even more of the same matching trauma to show us these gaps in such massive technicolor that we have to get onto healing them, period. There is no other way to heal. And that's exactly what I did. And that's why I'm thriving now. And that's exactly what thousands of people in this community did before they knew how to get there. They went inwards and they did the work. And that's why they're thriving too. And we all did it with the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Program, which is called NARP. If this video is deeply resonating with you and you're thinking, okay, I get it. I want to stop being with narcissists over and over again, and this is making a lot of sense, then apart from the information in this video, which is really vital, I also highly recommend checking out my Thriver TV series, which is called Clearing Your Susceptibility to Narcissists. Google it and they'll all come up for you. And there are really relevant topics there, such as people pleasing, holding on to righteousness, scarcity consciousness, poor boundary function, fixing people, seeking approval. They're all skirmishes and traumas that cause us to hand power over and hook with narcissists. They create us as a magnet to narcissists. So that's all the stuff and much more that we need to clean up to get off the playing field with abusers and onto a clear run of generating healthy, happy, loving, and genuine lives with capable others. So I hope you've really enjoyed this video. And if you'd like to learn more about how to heal for real from toxic relationships and narcissistic abuse, you can sign up to my free 16-day recovery course, which includes an invitation to a healing workshop with me, a set of ebooks, and lots more. So to access these, just click the link at the top right of this video. And if you want to see more videos, make sure you like and subscribe so you get notified as soon as each new video is released. So until next time, keep smiling, keep healing, keep thriving, because there's nothing else to do. And I'm off to the beach now. Lots of love. Bye-bye.